Hi, this is Luke. Welcome to the Practisim Designer tutorial series. This video covers generating a written stage briefing. So let's say I have a stage that I've already designed, right? And I want to write a written stage briefing and use the built-in written stage briefing tool to create a PDF that I can hand to my stage creators and to the squad and my shooters who are coming for my match. If you go over to edit, there is a feature here called stage briefing. You can click on that, and this is the written stage briefing UI. From top, you can see you can give this stage a name. So let's call this for funsies, right? Anything you want, and then designer is typically your name, so I'll just put my name here. And then I can then configure the stage stats. I can manually do this. It automatically defaults to what target type it selects. If it were IPSC targets, it will automatically select IPSC for you. And the default is 2 hits per paper. There's number of steel, number of no shoots, per scoring type, cost type, whether it's Comstock Virginia, time plus, or maybe even short, medium, intermediate, speed shoot, whatever. You can customize this yourself. Or you can use this handy dandy tool that automatically determines stage stats is. So if you click on auto determine, it will tell you that there are 3 paper USPSA targets, 1 steel and 3 no shoots, for a total round count of 7 because it's 2 per paper, and a total points of 35. If I want this to be 3 per, if I click on that and hit auto determine, now it will recalculate and it will tell you what the round count is and the points. And here you can select your start position details. The system comes with pre-installed default start positions. Typically mostly used in USPSA is the start position is standing anywhere in the shooting area, facing downrange with wrist below belt, handing gun is loaded and holstered. PCC start position is stock and belt safety on muzzle pointing down range. This is default, right? You can always change the default to maybe start position standing anywhere in the shooting area facing uprange or something like that, right? And then you can set this as default. And then what will happen is in the future, every time you start a tool, this will be your default start position. If you prefer to reset it back to, you just hit reset and you go back to the default tool start position. We also have a very simple spell checking capability. So let's say, for instance, if I accidentally type in this position instead of position, instead of embarrassing yourself, you can click on spell check and it'll tell you that the start, this word is supposed to be position. You can click on this to change it for you, and then it automatically changes it for you. Spell check is available for all of these different text boxes as well. This is where you add the procedure text. This button allows you to add activated text. So it will automatically try to determine what are the activators in your stage design and then describe them in the procedure. So let's do one here, right? Let's add a swinger over here. Let's drop a swinger over here. Let's clone this barrel and let's cover this. And let's say this popper activates that swinger, okay? So what I do is I go over to activation mode in the previous. If you haven't seen the tutorial for activation, please go watch that. And what you do is you select your activator and then select the, and then click on an activatable object and to link that. So now that it's linked, right, if you shoot this popper, the swinger will move. So let's go over to the WSB to see how that works. And so now that when you click on add activated text, the system will automatically detect that you have a popper that activates the swinger, so it immediately adds P1 activates S1 here for you. You can manually type this yourself, you can click on this, up to you, whatever you want to use, these options are available for you. The notes section in the written stage briefing, there's a small box right at the bottom where you put your handy build instructions for your build crew. You can also, instead of using build instructions, some people want to hide it, right, and they don't have any build instructions. You can click on that, or maybe replace it with a custom image. And once you click on this, when you go over to the template section, you can go and import what image that you want to use in that bottom box. And so what normally people put here is things like steel must be 23 feet away from shooting area or something, whatever, or target height should be 5 feet to the top of the head, whatever you want to include here. This section here for stage briefing is the page, what goes into page 2. The more verbose version of the details that are on the side. In USPSA, this is used most often in level 2 and 3 matches, sometimes club matches as well, where the stage RO or CRO will read this verbatim to the competitors. This can be easily created. You can either type in yourself or you can click on the generate button, which will automatically generate based on the details that you specify here. So in this case, you will say, welcome to stage 4 funsies. My name is blah and I'm the CRO for the stage. For funsies, the 10 round 50-point Comstock short course. There are 3 USP blah 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 blah. And this button here allows you to override the hit count. And so instead of showing Comstock best 3 hits on cardboard, so if you go over the templates here very quickly, just want to show you. Instead of showing this one here, Comstock best 3 hits on cardboard, I want to say something else. I want to say best 3 hits on paper, right? And if you go over the templates, you see that now this has been overridden. There are some cases where this system is too restrictive to some stage designs, maybe for other disciplines. And so this allows you to write whatever you want here that will fit into that text. This area is also dedicated to certain customized, more discipline-specific details. So let's say, for instance, this is not a USPSA stage. Let's say this is a IDPA stage. You see that now you have an IDPA section here that allows you to add in things like what is the start-stop, what is the muzzle safe, what is the concealment, whether it's required or not required, and distances, right? For, let's say, IPSC has a special section as well that allows you to add in things like gun ready condition. I-Core doesn't have any. PCSL has this PCSL here. What's the part time? What is the format? Whether it's 1 gun, 2 gun, or 3 gun. And so different disciplines have different requirements, and this will be added here as well. So let's go back to USPSA and let's go to templates. We have 7 templates here that anybody can choose from. By default, it will detect what kind of paper type you have in your design and it will pick that template. So if you see the IPSC template looks slightly different, the generic template, IDPA template looks slightly different, ISMOC looks different, and so on and so forth. This USPSA template was taken from the official written stage briefings that's published by USPSA, so I just used that as a template for USPSA. Some people have asked me, how can I customize this template? I've tried to make it as customizable as possible, but unfortunately you're kind of locked into this design. I'm still trying to figure out how you can export these details into your own customized template. That will be something I'm going to try to do for the future. But for now, this is what we have. What you're looking at here is all the details in page 1, and then you have your screenshot depending on what cameras you've selected. So let's say if I want this screenshot to be from the front, I just select that and now I have a front view. And if, let's say, I look at this and I'm like, I can't really see the targets, I prefer to have an outline, I want to turn on cell shading. Instead of going back to the camera UI, I can just quickly click here, toggle cell shading, and come back. Now you have cell shading all around this front screenshot. Your setup notes goes here, page 2 goes here. Images like this can be changed. So if you click on this logo here, you can load up your own image in a PNG or JPEG format, and you can use that for maybe sponsors or your own logo and so on and so forth. There is also an option like if you only want one page and you don't really like this page, you can just turn this off and it will not print page 2. Build this is basically a list of prop items that you have in your stage design listed out so that your construction crew can very quickly look at the build list and go and drag and grab the props from the Connex or from your storage unit and build the stage. I'll show this to you in a bit. The next item is your layout page. Layout page is for people who want an additional page to show a top-down view of what the stage looks like instead of just looking from here and figuring out how far is this from here, what is the relationship of this target to that barrel. I'm not very sure. I want a top-down view. I can click on this to turn it on. And so then from here you can select your zoom level. You can zoom in onto your top-down view. You can reposition by click and dragging this, and then use this as your top-down view. This is your layout page. You can also, instead of using this, you can load a custom image as your layout image. Maybe you added text to it for some reason, and you can customize this yourself. Otherwise, you can use the standard layout page here. The last option here is print more views. This is pretty interesting. I have 4 cameras here, right? And I want to be able to also export a page that shows the views from each camera included in the PDF. And I can very easily do this by clicking on this. So when you enable this, you have an empty page, And this page is split into 8 different rectangles here that you can select which camera you want. So for instance, if I click here and I pick a camera, I want this to be front. I click here, I want this to be right. Click here, I want this to be back left, and then front left. So if you click on this, it will just clear this whole views for you. But now what will happen is when you export your PDF, you will also include this view. So let's do that. Let's export it. So once you've selected the name for your PDF file and exported it, and if you open up in any PDF viewer, you'll see that this is how it looks like. So you have the name of your stage, your scoring, your targets, your rounds, your start position, your procedure, just like how it looked like in your template section. This is your output, right? Your front view with cell shading turned on, your setup notes, and then this is page 2 for funsies, the full verbose written stage briefing, your logos, and this is your build list. So build list outlines the kind of things that are required in your stage design. So in my stage design, I have 3 paper targets, I have 3 no-shoot targets, I have 1 swinger, 1 popper, and 1 wall. And you see a list of fault line segments. This is wrong for now. I am actually creating a system where the fault lines will show you the length of each individual fault line so that you know which one to pick. I've also received feedback that the club already has their own fault line segments and they don't come really standard at all. And so showing dimensions is not really required, so most people just ignore the section. It also shows you how many target stands you need, whether they're tall or short ones, and then how many barrels you need in your stage design. So that's your build list. And then your layout page, this is the top view of the layout page. It allows you to see your full stage design, except for this section here. I should have moved this a bit to the right. And then your additional views page. So in the additional views, you see the front view, right view, back left, and back right. Your front view, your right view, your back left, and your front left. And remember, there was a place when you created the cameras that you can add notes for each camera. And so those notes will appear here, right? Right back view, left view of popper, front view, and so forth. So that's it for the written stage briefing tutorial.